Oh, good morning. Happy Friday. What did I call this stream? Friday morning in World of Warcraft. I have to work, in about 34 minutes. I need to jump onto my work computer. But I wanted to just kind of get in and say happy Friday and see what we can get done in 35 minutes. Actually, one thing I want to do is, let me think, is get my engineering up so I can start crafting some better ammo. So let's go ahead and send my stuff over to my paladin so she can actually start crafting. And there's my alarm telling me to wake up and get my butt out of bed. And I just got up. Oh, good Lord. Thank God it's Friday, right? This weekend I've got a lot of work to do on my video game. Actually, one thing I was thinking about this morning, tell you guys about, is when you're thinking about making like a video game, it's like, what kind of color scheme do you want? I mean, what kind of mood do you want to set? Like, you play a lot of games like Diablo or even Dragon's Dogma to some extent, any MMOs. Like a game like this, like World of Warcraft, they're trying to get this it's kind of a cartoony look. And honestly, when the game first came out, I never liked the graphical look. Ooh, what is this? Ooh. Oh. I don't know if I can dual wield yet, but this is nice. The bow's an upgrade. I can, I believe, dual wield it level 20. So let's go ahead and... I don't think I can dual wield yet, but let's try. Yeah, see, it'll only let me equip one dagger, but at level 20, we will be able to equip both. But, so I was thinking about, the mood and kind of what do you want your game to, how do you want the game to feel from kind of like a color perspective. And I was talking about World of Warcraft has a certain look to it, but let's go ahead and add a display capture here because I want to show you guys some stuff. So when you look at World of Warcraft and you look around, it's more of a, I don't want to say realistic lighting, but you have blue skies, you have some clouds, you have sun. The lighting's fairly realistic. You've got this early morning. This is like an early morning sun. You do feel that they went through and actually tried to get this kind of an orangey tint to the light. And this changes during different times of the day. This it almost feels like an evening sun at this point because of that kind of orange tint. You can see that almost like the orange tint on my skin and how my pet's fur looks more tinged. Notice how when I mouse over it looks kind of like normal. When I mouse off of it, there's a color of kind of like an orange tint almost being applied, like a filter. And it's really cool. What's up, Chris? And it's really, hey, good morning. And it's really cool, like when you go into Unity and you go into different game engines. Unity is the one I've been looking at right now, and the one I'm probably going to be using, is that there's post-processing effects you can add to your rendering of your frames of your game. When you're rendering out the game, and you can add a post-processing to the camera, and so when you can basically manipulate the colors and manipulate some of the things that you're seeing, and so you can change the feel of your game just by doing that. You can say, well, I want to make it more dark and foreboding. And, it's kind of like when I go into /console here in World of Warcraft and I say FFX glow, 0. Actually, console FX glow. I think I have to, yeah, there, and see how it kind of immediately made it a little bit darker. Well, that's almost like similar to applying like a filter, and it immediately makes the game have a little bit more of a subdued look, which actually I actually prefer on a lot of areas, a lot of levels, and WoW I actually like using that. But with my new monitor, the colors aren't quite as vibrant as my IPS panel, so I actually have been using 1, and it gives me more of a natural, I think, look. Let's head over to I don't know why I ran this way, just because I'm yakking. But I was thinking about kind of like, how do you want your game to really what kind of feel, what kind of look do you want to have? And so if you go to, and Bing is your friend when searching images. I don't know if you guys like Bing. I use Bing for image searching all the time. But let's say you're looking for Hobbiton, right? And when you look at the images of, Hobbiton, which is of course Lord of the Rings, you're always going to see a very bright green, lush looking, environment. I wonder if we've got Hobbiton concept art, right? And so, yeah, this is perfect. So you're looking at something like this. Look at the very rich green colors. This is an image I've actually looked at many times, and we kind of go through. So when you think about making a video game, this is one of the things you have to think about too. Is like what kind of feel do you want the game to have? And it varies based on what cities and what regions you are in the world. I think it's super important. If you played a game like even Terra, you notice a big difference when you transition from zone to zone. And World of Warcraft to some degree, you notice a big difference. Like if you go to Daenerys in the desert and stuff, you definitely have a different feel. The desert and then the colors. But here you're looking at Hobbiton and very kind of cloudy day. It even looks like there's rain. Yeah, there is rain coming down in this picture. But you can see the type of colors and the very lush. There's a lot of foliage, a lot of grass, a lot of stuff is growing, which really epitomizes it's what the hobbits are all about. Is they love life and they love creating stuff. They love growing and nurturing nature and growing plants and growing their own food. And they're very nurturing, caring type of people. And you want to express that in the races that you create for your MMO or your fantasy game. You want to try to have that come across in the game as you're playing it. Like when you walk into a city that's the scars like Guild Wars, you're going to see more like in kind of harsh industrial looking buildings. Very jaggedy metal. Type of stuff. So that's something you have to think about. Again, these are all just pictures of Hobbiton. If you go to my folder here for my game, my game is called Voslar, but this is just like reference images that I have a lot of stuff under this folder, but one of the things I have is an art reference folder. These are just images. These are all folders of images I've taken off the web that give me inspiration for kind of certain things. For example, here's a picture of what a dystopian looking future. This isn't really fantasy, but it gives you an idea of kind of more of a post-apocalyptic view, which can be useful. Let's say I'm working on one of the regions and I really want it to look like it's been destroyed or it's really has been affected by some sort of an event. Maybe the goblins and the orcs had a huge battle, and so I want the area to look like it's been through hell. So even though a dystopian, more civilized future that's not fantasy but themed can still give me a lot of ideas. So when I was thinking about the art image that I wanted to use for the thumbnail for this video I'm doing right for this stream right now, I actually went online and I started looking at planes because sometimes I'll try to go through and create an image for where I'm going to be leveling. Like I knew I was going to be in Westfall. Well, Westfall's kind of like gives you this feeling of like the plains, and so you start pulling up images of the plains, something like this. And again, these are all great reference images. So when you're in Unity and you're creating your game, and you're creating like this the level, you're leveling the game, and you're kind of creating what's the colors and skybox going to look like. You can look at these images, and then when you tweak your filters and your post processing settings, you can kind of say, okay, well, take a screenshot of the game and then compare it to like an image that what you want that zone or that level to really feel like, and it gives you a great great reference to kind of different types of colors and color schemes, and these things will give you really great ideas on how you want how you want your levels to feel. This is actually the thumbnail that I'm using for this particular stream, and I really liked this this look of like an afternoon sun with a lot of clouds and overcast, and you can see, and this reminds me of a lot of the Guild Wars 2 art, to be honest. When you see these type of coniferous trees in the background, these pine trees. Coniferous trees are trees that have like needles, yeah, and so I think that's just something, like every day I'm thinking about something like that, I'm thinking about what can I do today to feel like I've done something towards my video game, and whether it's even just getting artwork or thinking about what I want levels to look like. And at some point I have to sit down, and probably that's one of the things I'll probably do this weekend, is really sit down and plan out I really need to do the map. And I think Tolkien has a great quote, and he said, let's see if I can find it. He has a really fantastic quote, which I really like. Where was it? Here it is. And Tolkien has a quote where he just says, "I wisely started with a map." And, he created a world, a huge, massive world. And I always looked at Tolkien as my probably number one I don't want to say influence because he really hasn't really influenced me, but I look at him as my number one inspiration in that, he really was creating an entire world. I mean, he created a language, he created races, he created, you know, everything about the people, everything that you would want to create for a fantasy, based world. Yeah, exactly, and exactly, Chris, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is like the tone of the game. And I think one of the things I was going through a class on Udemy about creating, writing your own fantasy, book, and the reason I was doing that was because to me, creating an MMO or creating a fantasy based RPG, really starts to me like almost like you're creating a fantasy novel because you have to think about the world, and the world's the most important part. The most important part of any MMO is the world, and the world. Well, how do you create a world? Well, you have to have people, and you have to have lands and creatures and animals, and you have to have a history. Who are these people? What do they do? How do they live? How do they make money? Do they have money? How do they trade goods to other people to get stuff? Do they trade? Are there two races called the Bren? Maybe is a race, and then you got another race maybe called the Crow. And maybe the Bren and the Crow, their borders are next to each other, and maybe the Crow are in a very forested region, and the Bren are in a more plains region. Well, the plains region, the Bren don't have much, maybe lumber or wood. They don't have a lot of wood material, or maybe they're not really good at making. Because they don't have wood, in their history, they haven't grown up as being good craftsmen or good, you know what I mean, people who make wood. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh my God, the word is right on the tip of my tongue. But people who work with wood, Anyways, they're not really good at working with wood. They're not really good at making furniture. They're not really good at making wagons. So maybe the Bren do a lot of trade with the Crow to get furniture, or even just to get maybe lumber, or maybe even to get handyman, or to carpenters is what I was thinking, the word carpenter. Maybe they hire them people. But anyways, and then the people on the plains, maybe they have developed a way to grow certain crops, or maybe they have certain animals on the plains that don't, that are indigenous there. There's all kinds of things, but you have to think about what do the people do on their daily lives, So when you create that game and you're as a player walking through these cities, there should be NPCs in these cities that are doing something that is specifically based on the lore of why these people exist and what they do. So, like, a perfect example is the Crow have a lot of lumber. Maybe they have a lot of, really good, plants and herbs, because it's a heavily forested area. So there's lots of, plants. And so maybe there's people that are really good working with, alchemy and recipes. And maybe there's a lot of physicians. So maybe people from Bren travel to the Crow, to actually get medical aid, or maybe to learn about how to be better physicians or better alchemists, or so there's all of that stuff you have to think about. And so then when I'm walking through a Crow city, then I'm going to have shops that are physicians. I'm going to have shops that are carpenters. I'm going to have shops that of people that maybe even that are selling maps on how to traverse their very wooded areas, because if you try walking off into the woods, you're going to get lost, or maybe you don't know where to go. Maybe you're going to walk into big crazy monsters you're not aware of. So maybe scouts. Maybe there's a local scout. I mean, how often have you seen that in MMO, where you walk into a village and there's no map? So my game isn't going to have a map. There's no map, right? I don't want there to be a map. You're going to have to either just create your own map on a piece of paper, and of course people eventually will create it online, right? But there's not going to be a map. So you're going to have to go through and either go to a town. Maybe you can buy like a rough map from like a map maker, right? But you might, have you ever seen that in MMO where you actually had to hire a scout to like tell you, or maybe go talk to someone just to tell you, hey, you don't want to go here. You know what I mean? Or you can just risk it, right? And that's one of the things that's missing from most MMOs, is the sense of sheer danger and sheer exploration, where you don't know at all where you're going, and you have no idea what's around every corner. That's missing in a lot of MMOs, and that's one of the greatest feelings of playing an MMO is to me anyway, for me, is the exploration and the danger of I don't know where I'm going. It's exciting to walk around a corner and maybe find a river. Maybe I follow the river and it leads to a waterfall. Maybe I follow the river and it leads to a cave. I go in the cave. What's in the cave? Maybe there's a dragon in the cave who just basically one-shots me, right? But I remember where that dragon is because someday I say I'm going to get more powerful and I'm going to come back and I'm going to kick his ass because he's probably got some fat loot. So, those are all the things you have to think about. Anyways, so I'm just kind of doing a little fun little just chatty stream where I'm just getting ready to go to work. I have to log into work in about 29 minutes, and I figured I'd just do some engineering type stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's leave this character here. I'm actually going to fire up my other account. So my paladin is an engineer. My hunter is currently an enchanter and a miner, but eventually she's going to be an enchanter and a blacksmith. Well, this game's only about environment and just touch and culture. Yeah. Tolkien is the greatest. And again, maps can be. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Chris. Maps can be a crutch, and I think that they take away that element of the game. If you have a map and you know exactly where everything is, where's the exploration? Where's the sense of exploring a new world? I mean, to me, the number one reason I play MMOs is I love that feeling of going into a fantastical world that's something different that I know nothing about, and I have to figure it out. I have to figure out who the people are, where things are, where's the danger, where's the, I love figuring those things out. And to give someone a map and oh, here you go. I mean, that takes away a large part of that, So, all right. So we're just gonna go ahead and trade, right? And what else? Let's send over. We're probably gonna need some of this stuff. And let's take my mail. I'm sorry, wrong tune. We do have some wool from Ken. Thank you, Ken, because I'm going to be needing this stuff for my crafting. Yeah, we're probably going to need that. We're going to need that. We're going to need this. This. Alright, let's take a look. What we've got going on here. So we need a lot of coarse stone, which I don't have. Unfortunately, I don't have coarse stone, so that's gonna have to wait. Coarse dynamite. Coarse dynamite. Again, I'm gated right now. My paladin's is really gated by the fact that I need more coarse stone. Ooh, I can make a crude scope, which is good because we can give this to my other player to put on her. I think it can be a gun or a bow, right? Yeah, see, gun or a bow. Yeah, I guess the players do. But you know what the players love better than that, Chris? Is the players love knowing something that other players don't know, right? So the players that go into the world and learn something, they learn maybe about a real rare cave that has some sort of ogre in it that's really hard to find, but nobody else knows about it. I mean, players love that, right? I know I do. It's like, oh man, you look at your friend, you're like, psst, I know where this cave is. There's this ogre, and we could kill him. Yeah, that's, don't tell anybody else. And you're trying to, get a leg up on everybody else in the game, right? I really need coarse stone. Let's sell these light feathers. Maybe we can get something for that. We also need to think about, is there anything I can make that I don't need that I can actually sell for decent money? I really don't think so, but handful of copper bolts. One thing that would be nice is the easy, what's it, easy throw? Easy? This. This is good because we'll be able to make dynamite that my my hunter can use. So let's go ahead and buy this. See what it takes to make our easy throw dynamite. It'll be fun to have the hunter, although the hunter really doesn't really need it because you know, I'd rather. I mean, I'm gonna probably do more damage shooting. But one thing that's nice about the dynamite is you can throw the dynamite and you don't have to wait for the animation to finish. If you ever watch people PvP and they really have the high level dynamite, they'll throw it, and as soon as it starts the animation, they can go off and start attacking and doing other stuff. So. No, what is this? Oh, it requires engineering 100. Oh my god, wow, I'm surprised. What is my engineering? I thought it was lower. Oh, it's 89. Okay, we're going to apply this crude scope to the bow that Ken just gave me. And we're actually going to swap weapons out. Play with the bow for a little bit. We're going to, basically, as we're leveling the hunter, we're probably going to jump back and forth between gun and bow. It really just depends on how high I can get the paladin for engineering as far as making some of the ammo. You know, this is a 6-slot quiver, which kind of sucks. But it's what we have. And let's give these... No, I guess we can hold on to that for now. Six-slot quiver kind of sucks. We really need a better, better one. We'll see if we can find a better one.
See you later.
So we've got, damn it, let's equip the bow. All right, we've got our bow. And let's go ahead. We're going to head over to the empty quiver here. The empty quiver. And let's go ahead and see if we can equip some get some arrows and different things. I want to get a better...
Looking for something specific?
I supply only the finest.
Here, we can get a medium quiver for 10 silver, so this is a lot better. It's a 10 slot as opposed to the crappy, like, 1 slot that I have. So let's go ahead and buy this 10 slot. Let's get rid of this. This was like the starter 6 slot you get when you first start the game. The vendor did buy it good. And Murloc Eyes, I don't think we need Murloc Eyes anymore. We're going to get rid of this gun. We don't need this. Oh. Of course, we're an enchanter, so we're going to disenchant that. Alright, and we're going to go for the sharp arrows. It's nice now that we actually can stack a few of these. Equip our ammo here. And I think that's all. And usually what I like to do with my ammo is I always like, when I'm buying stuff from a vendor, I always buy about 3 stacks extra. Because you go through it so fast on a hunter, so it's just good. As you're out there in the world doing quests and stuff, as you start emptying these out of your quiver, you can just take them from your inventory and throw them out. And it actually feels kind of nice, like, oh, I've actually cleared up some room. You're thinking, oh, I don't have any room for anything. Where's my pet? I don't see him. Where are you, buddy? He's like out, but I don't see him anywhere. There he is. He just magically appeared next to me. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna sell our one light feather. Look how much it sells for. 14 silver. Yeah, we're gonna have to farm. We're gonna farm feathers at some point, probably today, and just make some money. I should send these Briarthorn to Ken, but he's got so much money. Actually, you know what? I'll send it to him anyway. Yeah. So yeah, thinking about like, you look back at my folder here. We have a lot of different stuff, so and I need to organize this, and I will organize this. But there's some like ruins, swamps. Like here's a good one. If we go to swamps, and these are just images I've pulled off of Bing searches, and these can be good references for like different types of swamp looks. I love this building here. I love this Bavarian style of architecture. It's really good for medieval type themed, fantasy themed games. And again, these can give you good ideas on kind of how you want to colorize those levels, so that when you get into the swamp, you want to change the mood and the feel, what it looks like. And yeah, some of these images are good, some of these are not. I love this kind of art style to a certain degree. This is one of my, actually, I really like this one. This image makes me feel like if I was a player walking into a swamp and it looked like that, it just feels kind of desolate. It feels kind of like you're alone. Like there's not really anybody here that's going to help you. And I haven't played too many games that have really done it. In fact, I've never played an MMO that does a swamp the way I would like to do a swamp. That actually has it that when you're walking through mostly water and marsh, and you can hear your feet kind of slapping against the mud and the water. And there's flies buzzing around, and you hear the flies kind of, and you know what I mean? And it's just kind of a nasty atmosphere. So, and that's definitely something I want to look into, is creating that kind of an atmosphere. Now here's kind of like the edges of a tree, another swamp. Here's like an old, old ruins of what used to be some sort of a fort, probably. This browsing tool is so weird. Like, there we go. I guess this is the end. It doesn't circle around 360, which is kind of weird. Go ahead and see if I can clean up my inventory a little bit. Yeah, I love concept art. I'm not, I'm a good artist, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time creating a lot of concept art. I'll probably put together my reference images that I like for each level. Maybe put together like 5 to 10 images of each kind of area in the game that I want to work on, and just as reference. And I'll keep referring to those. And then I might, for like cities and stuff, I'll probably sit down and sketch out my own drawings, just kind of give me a rough idea of where I want the buildings to be, so that when I lay them out in Blender, how it'll look. Excuse me. Is there anything here I can... No, I can't learn that yet. Actually, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Let's... Oh, we haven't even made our runed copper rod yet, which is really funny. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just trying to do miscellaneous things because I gotta start working in about 7 minutes. So I just wanted to stream for just a couple minutes before I go to work. So we're just talking MMOs, we're talking MMO game design, and just, just playing around, see if there's any kind of like maintenance stuff I can do, inventory cleanup. I was sending stuff to my paladin for her engineering stuff. Oh, it's funny. Like, I don't think this was. I don't remember correctly, but was this ledge? See this ledge here to my left? Was that in original? Wow, I always thought it was. There was no ledge there, and that you couldn't get up. You had to like go swim to like another area. I think they've added this. I could be wrong, but I think this little ledge here has been added to the game. You have a lot of friends do amazing work, man. You need to hook me up with your friends, dude.
Hey there.
All right, so we need. What do we need?
Hello.
We need a copper rod. We need this, and actually let's get some simple wood. Maybe we'll make some wands or something.
Around.
All right, what's that? This is in the wrong spot. And okay, chat chests. First of all, let's create our runed copper rod. Start leveling up our enchanting. And we'll make a lesser magic wand. Maybe we'll sell that on the auction house, see what kind of money we can get. And I'm not really worried about it. Let's go ahead and buy that. We're just going to buy all this stuff. Actually, I probably shouldn't have bought it because it's probably too expensive. The other thing we can do is we can actually, there's another thing we can try out here. This is a little tip I can give you guys, most of you guys. We can go ahead and buy these scrolls. And then what you can do Just buy them all. And then sell them on the auction house for more than what you bought them for. Hopefully. Hopefully. If not, we'll just use them. Because they weren't that expensive. And it's nice to have these little buffs too. Especially if you're like leveling like a warrior. Like here I just sold my light feathers. I really need to just... I mean, money's not going to be that difficult. I really can just go farm, you know, light feathers. And but let's go ahead and sell a bunch of this stuff that I just bought. What time is it? I got to start jumping onto work here in about 4 minutes. Okay, so we've got Scroll of Protection. And first, let's go ahead and do a full scan in the auction house, just to update my... Most of my experience with movies, but about half starting. That's cool, dude. I wish I had friends like that, but I don't. All my friends are in like... I mean, I have a lot of friends in programming. Somebody from work's messaging me. Hold on a second. Alright. So, browse. How much does a Skull of Protection go for? You can see here 8 silver. What did I pay? What did I pay for like this? Like 1 silver per, I think, pretty much. So, we're gonna sell these at per item. Yeah, 7. See, this automatically is gonna take into account what's already in the auction house, which is right here. There's 1 for 8 silver, and it's gonna underbid that. That's why I like the Auctionator add-on. It works really well. We're gonna put this. It doesn't cost much to list this, so we might be able to make 23 silver and basically we could make 23 silver out of what cost me probably about 4 or 5 silver between buying them and actually, you know, maybe it was 6 silver. So that's a quick way to make a little bit of money, or one of the ways you can make money. All right. Scroll salmon, so we're just gonna say 23 and create auction. Strengths. You can see that they already have sitting in the auction house for 11 silver each, which is crazy, right? Because you can buy them from that vendor I just bought them from for like a couple silver. And anything else? Let's see how much this lesser magic wand that I created goes for. See, this is selling for... I can sell this for 18 silver. That's pretty good, you know. We're just going to go 8 hours. And we don't really need this clam meat. That's a pretty high price. The prices on this server are really good. Really good. I'm not going to lie. These are... Being able to sell clam for that much silver is pretty impressive. This clam is super easy to get. Same thing, the light feathers are at a pretty good auction price. Let me check this work message. Okay. Yeah, I gotta log into work. Apparently there's some weird emails going around at the office. But anyways, that's it for this video. I just wanted to, just talk a little bit of game development. I'm gonna be on later. I'm hoping I can get off work early today because I worked a lot of extra hours this week. So hopefully I can get back and stream in at 4 o'clock, which would be about, 6 hours from now? 10, 11, 12. Yeah, about 6 hours from now. Hope you guys have a great Friday. Happy Friday. And I will catch you all back pretty soon. Peace out.